What's up everyone? Welcome back to my 4-Star School YouTube channel. In today's lesson, we are going to continue working on our task application using Flutter GetX package. We have finished adding the new task type and deleting the new task type, adding the to-do item to specific task type in our previous lesson. So if you are new to my channel, feel free to reach out to my channel page and you will find a Flutter app from scratch tutorial which contains our GetX to-do app series, and also I have created the Flutter UI from scratch tutorial and Flutter GetX tutorial, Flutter widget tutorial, and the programming language tutorial for beginners. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, sum up my content, and open the notification so you won't miss out the latest Flutter tutorial. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. So first, let's open our Visual Studio Code and start our iOS emulator. First, I'm going to fix some issue what we left from the last lesson. So let's open our view.dar under the home folder. As you can see, when I press this floating action button, I will pop up a new dialog which can add the to-do item to specific task type. But here is a bug, so we're going to check if we have the task type. If we don't have any task type, we cannot select any of them, so you will have some issue. So here I'm going to change this arrow function to the normal function. Okay, I'm going to cut this line of code. And so first we're going to check if our controller tasks is not empty. If it's not empty, it means we have the task type we can select in our add dialog, so we can put this navigator in here, which will open the new dialog. Otherwise, we're going to show using the easy loading show info set please create your task type. Okay, let's save. So let's delete all the existing tasks. Then when I hit this floating action button, it actually will show the information message, ask me to create the task type first. So let's create our personal task type. Right. After we create this personal task type, then when I hit this floating action button, it will pop up our add dialog, and we can select this personal task type. Okay, I think we kind of fixed this issue for now. So for the next, I'm going to create the detail view for our detail page. So when I click this personal task, it will jump to our detail page. So let's create a view.dar file under the detail folder. Okay, and let's create a stateless widget. I'm going to call it detail page. Let's import should be material there and make the key nullable. So first thing, I'm going to find our home controller using get.find. And we need import library. In this case, also import this GetX library and remove the constant keyword. So for this builder, I'm going to return a scaffold. for the body. Here, just simple text widget inside the center widget indicate we are in a detail page. Okay, so let's save it. And let's find this task car. I think it should be inside our home folder, widgets folder. And we're going to wrap entire container inside our gesture detector widget. And we have on tab attribute. So inside this on tab, we're going to using get.to, which can navigate to our detail page. Let's import the library and save it. So in the detail page, we're going to have the go back button, so we can close this page and back to the home page. So currently, when I click this personal task, I will jump to a new page, which is this detail page, but we don't have any option can remove the currently row, so we probably need a back button that can close this detail page. So let's lay out this detail page. So first we're going to remove our center widget. Instead we're going to use a list view. Right, we have a children attribute. So inside this list view, we'll probably need to remove this constant keyword. And inside the list view, so we first will have a row widget, and we have children, right? So for the left children will be the icon button. You can close the currently page. So for the onPress, I'm going to use the get.back. For the icon, we're going to use a constant icon color, which is material icon. Arrow back. Okay. Let's save it. And we can go back to previous page by click this back button. Also, I think we could give this row padding. We could use edgeinset.org, and we're using this responsible waypoint. Let's import our extension.dart and save it. So after this back button, we will have another row. So we're going to use another row widget, and we'll have a children attribute. So inside we'll have our icon, and let's have our icon data, right? And in this case, we're going to access the information which is stored in our task observable variable, right? We create this task variable. So when we click this task card, we're going to pass these task information in our observable variable. So I think in here I'm going to use home controller dot change task, and we're going to pass the task here. Okay, and save it. So when I click this task card, we're going to set the currently task type to the variable we create, and in this detail page we could access to this task variable, right? And we could using these task equals home controller dot task dot value, and also we could access the color, which is hex color from task.color. Okay, so let's save it. And in this icon data, we could access the task.icon, and also font family would be material icons. Another one would be the color. So the color, we're just using the color we create, right, which is here. We're using the task.color. We convert back to the color type. So let's save it for now, and you see we have this personal icon. So I could create another task type, which is work, and when I can click this work task type, it will show the work icon. Also, it's better to set the task variable to none when we close our detail page. So that's using this home controller change task, and we're going to set to none. Okay, and save it. So after our icon, we can have the title. Let's create our title. I'm going to use a text widget, and we have a task.title, and we could style it. So using the text style, we probably need to change the font size and also the font weight. So let's save it. Okay, seems good. And we'll probably need some gap between those two, so I'm using the size box. And for the width, I just give it 3 weight point. For this entire row, we probably need to give it padding as well. So using this edge inset symmetry, changing the horizontal to 8 weight point. Okay, I think that's pretty good for now. So let's check the design file. So next we're going to show this progress indicator, which include the total number of to-do items versus total number of finished to-do items. Back to the Visual Studio Code. Here we're going to find our controller.dar under our home folder, and I'm going to create another two variable. So first one is doing to-dos, right? Store a list of dynamic type, and default is empty. And another one is finished to-dos, also store a list of dynamic. Default value will be empty, right? So let's save it, and then we could store the doing item and finished item in those observable variable. So when I click this task type, we're going to assign all the doing to do to these doing to dos, and done to dos to these done to dos. Right. So we're going to find our task type, and I think we could write another method which is void type. Going to change to dos, and we'll receive a list of dynamic. I'm going to call it select. So first I'm going to clear the doing to dos, right? So clear, and also clear our done to dos. And then we're going to using the normal for loop. we're going to create a to-do. So also check the status for this to-do. So if the status equal true, means it should be inside our done to-dos, right? We'll add to here. Otherwise, I'm going to store in our doing to-dos. Okay, that's pretty much it, and we can save it. So we're going to call this method when we press these personal task type. So let's jump into our task card.dart. And here we're going to change the task, right? Because we pass the task along to the detail page. So we're also going to pass the to-dos to the detail page. So we're going to check if task to-do is not none, right? If it is none, we just pass the empty list. Okay, should be to-dos, right? So let's save it. If it's not empty, we just pass all the information stored in this task.todos. Otherwise, we just pass this empty list to the detail page. So back to our view.dart under the detail folder. So let's click this personal task type. So inside this view.dart, we're going to scroll down. So after these icon and title, we're going to create another row widget to store our total number of to-dos, right, and also the progress indicator. So here I'm going to use another row widget, and we have a children attribute. So the first children would be just the text, and we will have the total number of to-dos. Since we will dynamic show the to-dos versus done to-dos, so we're going to wrap this row widget with the OBX. So for your OBX, I'm going to cut our row widget, and we're going to return the row widget here. Okay, so before the return statement, we could get the total to-dos equals on controller dot doing to-dos dot len plus on controller dot done to-dos dot len. Okay, so we could display the total to-dos right here, and also we could style it with using the text style. So change the font size to 12. Also the color change to gray. So let's save it. And you can see we have 0 tasks. And we could give it some padding. So let's wrap this row widget with the padding widget, and we could remove this constant keyword, and here we were using this edge inset only. So for the left, we could give 16 weight point. So for the top, just 3 weight point, and for the right, we could also give 16 weight point. So let's save it. Yeah, it's pretty similar. So we could try if these tasks actually change. So let's back to our home page. We could add the to-dos to our personal task. So that's something like right block. Okay, let's hit these done, and you see we have one doing to-dos inside our personal task type. So let's click this personal task type. And you also see these total to-dos equals to 1. So that's correct. And we will have a progress indicator behind these total number of tasks. So we'll give some space between the progress indicator and the title. So it will be just 3 waypoint. So that will be fine. And we're using this expanded widget. So inside the expanded widget, we were using the step progress indicator. We probably need to import the library. Okay, so for this step progress indicator, first we need to specify the total steps. We're going to check if the total to-dos equal 0, right? If it equals 0, we just show 1. Otherwise, we show the total to-dos. So the reason we're doing this is because by default, this total step could not be smaller than 0. Be total steps, so we miss the steps. Okay. Next would be the currently step. So for currently step, we just give it on controller dot done to-dos dot len. So that's pretty much it. And for the size, probably 5, and the padding change to 0. So we have a selected gradient color. So for selected gradient color, we're going to use linear gradient. So linear gradient, we have a begin, so it will be a line top left, have end it would be a line bottom right, and we have a color. So for color, we're using color dot with opacity just 0.5 to the color. Okay, that's for the selected gradient color, and we also have unselected gradient color. So it probably we could copy this one, just change the colors, right? So for the color, we're going to use the colors.grade 300. Okay, and that's pretty much it. So we can save it, and you will see we only have one task, and the currently step will be 0. So it will show the entire grade because we don't finish any to-dos. So we finish this progress indicator. After the progress indicator, we will have this text field, let user to input the doing to-dos. So let's back to Visual Studio Code. So after this widget, we're going to have another one, so which is TextFormField. And in the TextFormField, we're going to associate the controller, which could come from our home controller, right? And also, because we're using this TextFormField, I'm going to wrap this the view with our phone widget. And also, we assign the key. Okay, so let's save it. So for this text form field, it's better to give it some padding. So we will wrap the padding widget, remove this constant keyword, and change it to symmetric. We will have the vertical which is 2 weight point, and the horizontal just 5 weight point. So let's save it. And for this text form field, we're going to indicate it should be auto focused. And the decoration, we're going to use input decoration. Focused border should be underline input border. So you could change the border size to gray color. And also we will have a prefix icon. And the color would be the gray color. So let's save it. And also we have a suffix icon as well. So we're using the icon button. And we have on press, so we could leave it empty for now. And we have icon attribute. I was just using the icon material icon start done. Let's save it. So this one can be click, and when I hit these click, we will trigger this on press. I'm going to implement adding the doing to do into our doing to do list. Next is implement our validator. So inside this text form field, we could have a validator attribute. It will receive a value, and we're going to make sure if user input something, right? So if the value is null or is empty, we're going to indicate please enter your task to item. Okay, otherwise just return no. Okay, then inside is on press, so we could call like on controller dot phone key dot currently state dot validate. Right, we could validate, make sure the user type something. So then we will call control dot add to do. So we're going to implement this method later. So if success, we are using the easy loading to show the success message. Otherwise, we're going to show the error message. Okay, and then after we add the to do, we're going to clear our add controller. Okay, can save it. let's implement this add to do method inside this controller.dart. We're going to pass our home controller.edit controller.test into our add to do method. So let's create this method. And I'm going to implement this one. So we'll return a Boolean type, and we can change this text to title. For this add to do, we're going to construct the to do first. Right? We have title, and we have done, which is false by default. And then we're going to check if doing to do's any right. I'm going to use map equals we're going to compare. So in this case, we're using this map equals. We're going to import a library, which is foundation. As you see here, you will compare to map with the same attribute and same value. So for this case, it will check our doing to do's if we contain the same to do, have the same title and same done. Okay, so if it has, we're going to return false, right? So otherwise, we make sure. So first we check our doing to do, and then we're going to check our done to do. So probably the same thing. So if we're using any, if we're using map equals we'll compare the to do. Here is no to do, so we're going to create another one, which is done to do. We have title. So this one should be true, right? Because it's done. So we're going to check if we have this done to do. Okay. Also, we're going to return false. Otherwise, we're going to add to our doing to do and return the true. Okay. Okay, I think I make a mistake. This should be a semicolon. Okay, let's explain it again to you. So first, we create the to do, and we're going to check if our doing to do contain this to do. And then we create this done to do, and we're going to check if our done to do contain this done to do. If we no contain, we're going to add to our doing to do's. Otherwise, we're going to show the to do item already exists, and we're going to pop up the error message so we could save it. We also need another method, which is update the to do. Okay. This method will call when I press this go back button. You will update the to do's. So I'm going to create a new to do's. And for these new to-dos, we're going to add or. So the first one would be our doing to-dos, and next one will be our done to-dos, right? Okay, it should be inside this bracket. And then we will have our new task. We're using this copy with. Okay, here we're going to receive our task, and we're using the task dot copy with to-dos, new to-dos. Okay. And then we have our old index. Going to change our index, close new task, and refresh our task list. Okay, and I think because we already select our to do, so we could remove this one and just use task dot value. Okay, and make sure we already have this value. Okay, so we're going to call this one when we press this go back button, which will update our task. So let's save it and close our controller in our view.tar. So let's find this go back button here. So I'm going to call our home controller. So we're going to call it before we make it now, right? So I'm going to call it here. So we're going to call home controller dot update to dos. Okay, so let's save it. And also we will need to clear our edit controller. Okay, so let's save. So we could try one. So going to add some random to do, such as create video. So when I hit this button, the task immediately changed to 2. And when I back to our home page, this one's still 1. So I think we are missing something. So let's back to the controller.dar. So I think the problem may be here. So we forget to add these value. So let's save it now, because the task means we have this observable type. We need using this value to get the actually type, right, which is the task. So for now we can save it and try again. So click this personal task. I'm going to add this new to do, create video. So hit this finish button. So the total task increased to 2, and back to our home page. Okay, it also changed the total number in our home page. So it means we have successfully solved this bug. So make sure you get this task type instead of this RX task type. Okay, so next let's implement this list of doing to do. Okay, so back to Visual Studio Code, and also we're going to show this image when there is no any to-dos in this task type. So first let's create an assets folder, right? And I'm going to move our images folder under this assets folder, right? We have this task image, and we're going to find our assets. I'm going to delete this image. We're going to add the prefix. Okay, ss.images, right? And we can save it. In our detail folder, we're going to create another folder, which is widgets folder. So inside this widgets folder, we will have doing list.dar, and also done list.dar. Okay, so for the doing list.dar, I'm going to create a state list widget. Doing let's import the library, make the key nullable. So first we're going to find our home controller. We're using get.find. So let's import our GetX package and also import our controller. For this build method, we're going to wrap everything inside our OBX, right? Because it's dynamic change. So in the OBX, I'm going to check if the home controller dot doing to-dos dot then is empty, right? And also the done to do also empty dot is empty. If they both empty, we're going to just show our image, right? So the image inside this column widget, right? We have our image.ss. We use ss.images.tasks.jpg and going to set the feed to box feed.cover, and the width would be 65 weight point. That's pretty much it. And we're going to import the library for this weight point. So after the image, we will have a text widget. Just show these add task, right? And I'm going to style it using the text style. Change the font weight to bold. Also change the font size to 16. Okay, let's save it. So the error means here. So it's going to return if we have doing to do. So just return. Okay, so I'm going to show have doing to do's. Okay, so let's save it. And we probably need to import this doing list in our view.dar under our detail folder. So this is this view. Scroll down. Yes, it's shown. Should be here. Okay, so paste it here. Need to import library as well. Okay, let's save it. And you will see we have a text show we have doing to-dos. If it's inside this work, we're going to show the image. Okay, it probably is the typo, so it's images. Okay, so let's save it. And back to our work. You see, we don't have any doing items inside this work task type. So it just shows this image and we focus on this form field. So if we have doing to-dos, it just show we have doing to-dos, right? So back to this doing list, we're going to change this task widget to a list of doing. We're going to change this text widget to a list view. Which include a list of doing to-dos, right? So first we're going to set this ship red to true because we are inside another list view, and also the physics going to change to claims scroll physics. And for it is children, going to use on controller dot doing to-dos, right? Dot map and convert to list. So inside the map function, we're going to return the row, and let's check the design file. We have this checkbox on the left side, title on the right side. So for our row widget, we're going to have a size box. Sorry, it should be children attribute, right? Then have a sized box. So width just set to 20, and height also 20. We have a trial just a checkbox. So for the checkbox, we will have this field color. Going to use material state property dot resolve with which return colors dot gray. Okay, and then we will have this value. So the value will be element dot 10, and for the on change event, we will receive the value and going to call this on controller dot done to do, right? So we're going to implement this method later. Okay, here is a typo. It should be a small letter checkbox. So we're going to create this method and we're going to implement it later, right? So just save it in our controller and back to our doing list, and we could save it as well. It will show we have two to-dos. Behind the checkbox, we will show our text. It should be element dot title, right? Let's check this overflow using text overflow dot eclipse, and let's save it. We probably need the padding for this row widget, so wrap the padding. Going to use the symmetric. And we could change the vertical to 3 waypoint and change the horizontal to 9 waypoint. I remove this constant keyword, so let's save. Also, between these checkbox and the text, I'm going to give it a little bit gap, so maybe we could wrap the padding widget with our text. So also symmetric, and for the horizontal, going to change to 4 waypoint. So let's save. Now it looks better. So we haven't implemented any time to do method, so this checkbox is no work for now. So let's try to implement this dump to do. So we're going to pass these, I think it's element title to our dump to do, right? And then jump into our controller.r. We're going to implement our dump to do method. So first you will receive our title, right? And then we're going to find the index. So first, let's find the index. Index doing to do start index where. Going to use this map equals should be a string and dynamic. We're going to compare. Okay, so first let's construct this dump to do, right? The title is the title, and the done is force. Okay, I'm going to pass the dump to do in here. Also compare with the element. So first we're going to find the index, right? And then we're going to use this to do start remove add the index, and then we'll done to do going to add create another. Oh, sorry, this should be doing to do. Okay, so first we're going to find a doing to do index inside this doing to do's. Then we construct the done to do. Still we have a title, and the done set to true. Right, then we're going to add this done to do, okay, to our done to do's. Then the doing to do start refresh, and done to do start refresh. Okay, so let's save it. And here I'm going to save as well. So when I click this one, you're going to make it done. So let's test it. Yeah, when I click this doing to do, it will gone, and also you will see our progress indicator will increase to the 50%. Next, let's back to our doing list and check this design file. We have this divider after a list of doing list, so we're going to add this divider. So I think we're going to add, so after the list of doing to do, right? So it should be here. Going to check if our home controller dot doing to do start is not empty, right? So we'll show this divider, okay, and think this set to 2. So let's save. So probably we need padding as well. So let's wrap these with our padding widget. So for the padding widget, we're going to use symmetric. So for the horizontal, just give it 5 breakpoint. So let's save it. But that's pretty much it. This is for our doing list, right? So we could go back to our home and check our work, right? It seems good. So let's add one more to-do item in our personal tasks. So we could add buy something, right? When I hit this button, it will add to our doing list, right? So it seems work pretty well. Progress indicator also change. We could try it in here. So let's show right block. When I hit this one, the image will change to the doing list, and also the total number of tasks will increase, right? So I think that's pretty good. So we will stop the video here, and we will implement the done list and delete done list in our next video. Also, this progress indicator on our homepage. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, sum up my content, and open the notification so you won't miss out the latest Flutter tutorial. Okay, thanks for watching. I will see you in next video.